How you doing? I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com. Today's topic is quitting when things get difficult. Are you going to quit when you need yourself to be strong the most, when that internal need for strength is at its height, when something happens and you have to make a decision and you take the decision to quit doing what you're doing and go back to the old way of doing things. This is what addiction is all about. It's about taking the easy way out, creating this internal culture of failure, this internal individual culture of failure within yourself. There's an internal conflict going on all the time where the easy way out, the instant gratification, take the road of least discomfort always wins. The problem is with this type of thinking is that it has long-term detrimental effects on you, on both your physical well-being, especially when you're taking a drug like this, and your mental well-being. It just plays havoc with your self-confidence, with your levels of self-belief. Every time you give in and you say, I'll do it next week, and you make your excuses and you say, it's not the right time now, or I don't feel like I'm up to it. You have to ask yourself, when are you going to feel up to it? Because if you're hoping that suddenly down the road this magic person is going to appear, you as a stronger person, as a person who is going to be able to deal with these things, then think again. The only way that these stronger personalities come out of people is when there is a deliberate, self-directed, maintained and confident building of that person. These people, these personalities don't just appear out of thin air, Circumstances don't make people, It's how people react to circumstances that make the person. So if you think that down the road something's going to happen that's going to all of a sudden lift you up into a person that you wish you were, right? Then think again, because what it's more than likely going to do is drive you much deeper into the self-gratification model that you've lived all these lives. And it is a model. It's a model for life. It's an easy way out of doing things. It's you give yourself all the satisfaction that you can in the moment and use whatever tools are at your disposal in the moment to forget about the future that is quickly disappearing out of your reach. And it brings a sadness about, it brings a sadness to you, it brings a sadness to the people around you. But you can always hide from the sadness by having more alcohol. Every time you quit, you're just digging that pit a little deeper for yourself. You're digging that trap a little bit deeper for yourself, and you're making sure that it's a little bit harder next time for you to get out of it. As sad as that is, you can see how this happens to people. It's, you give in a little bit and your thoughts take over, and you allow your thoughts to run down a certain path which is telling you, I'll do it tomorrow. You procrastinate and you say to yourself, I'm just not going to do it now. And in your own mind, that that's a little defeat, right? It's a little personal defeat. It's the same way as when you do something and you might be modest about it, but deep down inside, when you've achieved something, that it's a personal victory. It's a little victory that has given you a bit of self-esteem, self-belief, confidence in yourself, your own abilities. And that confidence carries on into the next bout of that next push forward, I should say. But it's the same thing that happens with every time you have that little personal defeat where you know that you should have carried on, and you know that giving in was giving in, and no matter how much you justify it to yourself and you say to yourself, well, yeah, you know, I will try again tomorrow, you know deep down that that was a personal defeat. And that can cause you to, it can alter the decisions that you make in the future, right? It can alter the way you think about things. It can alter the choices that you make. You know, it can just have a very negative, profoundly negative impact on the choices that you make. And then that in turn has a profoundly negative impact on the actions that you take. Same thing happens when you do something, when you succeed at doing something, it makes a difference the next time. You have a little bit more energy about the choices that you make. You have a bit more passion about the choices that you make, a bit more motivation to carry on. You know, you've got a bit more momentum on your side, and it builds that momentum. And then you make another good choice and you keep pushing on. This is what I'm talking about with failure. If you fail at something but you've tried, right, and you know you've given it your best shot, then you still get that bang, right? You still get that push forward in your momentum, because, you know, you can look at this and say to yourself, well, I tried doing this, right? I gave it my best shot, right? Now I can sit down, I can say, right, where did I go wrong? And I can plan something that will maybe take me around that obstacle next time, or over that obstacle next time, or I just won't make that mistake the next time because I understand where I went wrong. But when you give up, there is none of that. You know, it's just pure abject failure, because you know that you failed. You know that you didn't give it your best shot. You know you didn't try. And it's in that not trying, you know. And even if you say to yourself, well, I did try, you know, I'm not talking about that type of trying. I'm talking about the trying where you commit 100% to it, right? Where you say, I gave it 100%, but for whatever reason, I failed at doing this. You know, in life, sometimes it's the smallest choices that make the biggest difference, right? It's those little choices where you say, right, I feel like giving in. I feel like quitting right now in this moment because I feel shit. And I feel like just packing it in and going down to the pub and getting pissed, right? Or whatever it is. But it's a small choice where you say, right, I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to give myself 5 minutes. Or I'm going to give myself 10 minutes or a half an hour. I'm going to get up off the couch now. I'm going to stop thinking about it. And I'm going to change my environment. I'm going to go out and walk, or I'm going to go for a run, or I'm going to do something which takes me out of the thinking that I'm in. You know, this has a profound effect on your overall decisions, right? It has a profound effect on how you move forward. Because as I say, this is a moment by moment journey. It's not something that you take in massive week-long bounds or month-long bounds, or something that you take and you're there a year later and you're quit drinking alcohol, right? It's a step-by-step journey that is going to require some discomfort in the beginning. It's just a necessary evil, right? It's a part of this process, and there's nothing you can do that is going to get away from that, right? So you have to take it step by step. So you take it in those small chunks. As I say, you take it 30 days at a time at first, and just go for it at 30 days. Commit yourself to doing that 30-day stretch. Don't commit yourself to doing a lifetime of abstinence from alcohol, right? Because it sounds too tough, you know. And don't say to yourself when you're in that moment, well, yeah, I'm facing these cravings now, I'm facing this discomfort now, and I know that this is going to last me for the whole month, right? Take it as 5 minutes. Take 5 minutes and have a time out and just say, I'm going to change the way I do things. And it has a profound effect. And equally as profound an effect is the opposite way, where you give in and you say to yourself, I'm going to sit on this couch and I'm going to think about this stuff and I'm going to wallow in my own self-pity. That has as much of an impact in a negative way, in the negative sense, than the other way, where you take 5 minutes and have a positive impact on yourself and shift your mindset away from thinking about the drinking. Always try and think about any difficulty, any problem that you have in a positive way, right? Look for the solution. Don't look at the problem and look at it and how bad you feel or how miserable you are or how much discomfort you're in at that moment, right? Look at the solution. How can you change the way you think right now in this moment? Don't think about it an hour down into your day. Don't think about it a day down the road. Think about it now. What can you do in this moment just to change your mind, just to change your mindset, just to change the way that you feel? And you're guaranteed that if you change something small about it, it'll have a snowball effect inside. It'll have a snowball effect on your behavior and on your thinking. Just getting up, for me, getting out and walking and doing something and listening to something, changing the way my mind is thinking, works wonders. I often have a trick to go to sleep when I can't go to sleep and my mind is just going over and over things, and that's to play Beethoven's Fifth Symphony in my head, right? Da 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 da, and I just allow this to go over and over and over again in my head. And what it does is it stops my brain from thinking. You can't do two things at once, right? Now your brain can flip between one thing and another, backwards and forwards. So if you try and stop yourself from thinking about problems, what your brain is going to do is it'll go, I don't want to think about problems. Then it'll think about the problem. Then I don't want to think about problems. And you're backwards and forwards like this. Whereas if you have something like playing music in your head, it's something that you're familiar with. It's something that can block out everything because, you're completely concentrated on just this one thing. And it does work, And before I know it, I'm always waking up in the morning, and not having to think about it again. So think about that. Always try and look at things in a positive way. Don't quit on yourself when there's no need to quit on yourself. Look at things in the small time frame of what you can do in the moment to overcome whatever it is that is problem, whatever the problem is in that moment, whatever the discomfort is. Look at what you can do in a small time frame to overcome that. So until next time, my name is Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com. Leave a comment down below. Come on over to the website and leave a comment there. And if you want to get our Alcohol Mastery Starter Pack, which has a couple of different video courses in it, there's a couple of books, and there's a few other bits and pieces to help you start out on this new and absolutely wonderful journey. I'm telling you, if you can get onto this thing and you can get into the right frame of mind, you'll never look back again. You'll just look at what is in front of you and what you've achieved in your life, just getting rid of this toxin. Until next time, take care of yourself, keep the alcohol out of your mouth, and stay safe. Onwards and upwards.